everybody, this is Gregory with how I lost over 100 pounds and have kept it off for 30 plus years, where there should be no hesitance in your weight loss and in your weight maintenance. Today, we're going to continue the series Confessions of an Obese Child and talk about my escapades in the swimming pool. Now, before I begin, if you need help with weight loss, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. Also, check out the links to my website, which has a lot of articles and recipes that might be useful to you. And check out my podcast. And if you appreciate my content, there is a link for PayPal. Now, an episode that is very similar to this one would be the one in the locker room, which I'll put a banner in. So, in my childhood, I liked to go to the swimming pool. We had a neighborhood community pool, and I would like to go swimming. I like swimming underwater. Even today, I'll put on my goggles and swim underwater. I like to try to swim the length of the pool, especially if it's a long one, because I used to be a very good underwater swimmer. But let me tell you, being a fat kid, the pool is not a place you want to go. And one of the things I always deliberated on was to wear a shirt or not wear a shirt. And it's interesting because I'll go to a pool today and I'll still see, and since obesity is much more prevalent now than it was in the 80s, overweight people who wear shirts. And I think about like my experiences with it. So it's kind of like Hamlet's soliloquy, to be or not to be. It was like to shirt or not to shirt. Because I thought, okay, if I don't shirt, then people are going to see my man boobs. Go to the episode on the bra. They're going to see my man boobs. They're going to see all the stretch marks and so forth. But really, does wearing a shirt really make that much of a difference? The shirt's just going to adhere to your fat body. It's not like it's going to make you skinnier. But at the time, I would wear a shirt. And interestingly, even after I lost my weight for a good 10 to 15 years after I lost my weight, I still wore a shirt. It was that residual trauma that I had, and still on one level, still thinking I was a fat kid in a skinnier guy's body. The other thing about the swimming pool was the swimming pool I went to had like 50 minutes on, 10 minutes off where people could do laps. And so I would try to time it where I knew that the lifeguards were going to blow the whistle and like find that part of the pool I was going to go into, because again, I didn't want to get attention to myself. Go to the episode on my classroom panic attacks and so forth. So like as soon as the lifeguard would blow the whistle, I would run in my fat way to the pool and jump in really fast, because once I got in the pool, I had a little more anonymity because people couldn't see how fat I was. They'd still see it in my face, but maybe not as much as my body. So it was always like timing it. And then when we had to get out of the pool, I could not lift myself out of the pool. There was no way I was able to lift myself, because at this point, I'm over 200 pounds in my tween years. So I had to get to the steps, and I remember just pushing away kids with their floaties and stuff to get to the steps, because I wanted to get out of the pool and hide in my corner as quickly as possible, because I just didn't want attention. So despite like all this work, I was bullied all the time in the pool. And lots of times it was the same kids. I went to the Catholic school where I was bullied. And other times there's just other kids in the pool that would come. And of course, they'd call me fat ass, look, there's an earthquake anytime I'd walk, other things like that. But I remember on at least a few occasions, these kids, and I like to call them like future wife beater number 1 and Vicodin addict number 2, because that's what they ended up being later on. I would remember these guys were just horrible people. They would come up to me while in the pool and pull off my trunks. And not just pull off my trunks, they would pull off my trunks and then throw it in the dumpster. So now I'm naked in the pool. I'm like looking to the lifeguards, kind of like I used to look at Coach Castro on the things that happened to me in the locker room. He didn't do anything. And I look at these lifeguards and they're like, well, you're not drowning. It's none of my business. So I'd be like crying, trying to get somebody's attention. Sometimes the parents that were around were sympathetic and they would go to the dumpster. I remember a couple times the owner of the community pool, or the guy who would run it, was like, well, this is bad optics. This looks bad if this got out. And it's not like we had social media in 1987, but he would go reprimand the kids, tell them, hey, you do that again, you're going to get kicked out. And he would go get the trunks. But that would happen on occasion. And it was just utterly embarrassing, right? Imagine you having your trunks pulled down, or if you're a woman, imagine your bathing suit stripped down. Nowadays, if that would happen, it would get on social media and it would be everywhere, right? But in the 80s, we didn't have that kind of sensitivity toward obese people. as we do now. And despite all this, I still like the pool. I go to the pool all the time now, and now I don't wear a shirt. It's been several years now where I don't wear a shirt. And look, I have stretch marks. You can clearly tell I have my bloopy, which will be a future episode. You can look at my body and tell that I used to be fat. It is undubitable and undeniable, and people have told me, I mean, I've been in locker rooms, and they'd be like, hey, you used to be fat, right? I go, yeah. I mean, you can tell. I don't have a body of a person who was never fat. You can tell that I used to have, that I used to be fat. And there was a long time where I was really self-conscious about that. Like even after I lost my weight in the gym, I'd be putting on my clothes really fat. And now, as I mentioned in the previous episode, like at the dry sun, I just, naked, dressed, I throw the towel down, I take my time. Because you reach an age, it's like you have to own it, This is my body. It's infinitely better, but 99% better than all the other kids or people who were 260 pounds at age 14. A lot of them are dead or even more overweight. So I have to take it in perspective. Yes, my body's not perfect, but it's infinitely better than even people who weren't overweight when they were kids, just regular 48-year-olds like myself. I have a better body than a lot of those people. So why should I be ashamed of my past? And I would tell you about your own body and its imperfections, the same thing. We'll have future episodes on that when we talk about dealing with post-weight loss residual issues. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you if you can relate to my story. Please, it helps with the algorithm of this fledgling channel. Hit the like button, hit the notification button, comment, and share with others. Until next time, take care, God bless, and pray.